What's going on, guys? Mic check. Testing 1, 2, 3. How's everyone doing today? Can't let you guys see next week's shirt. Can't have any of that. Hope everyone's doing well out there today. We're running a touch behind. Apparently, it doesn't matter how many weeks in a row I do this. I can't seem to remember exactly when I need to sit down and start doing the show that I do every Sunday, or, well, every other Sunday right now. But I'll tell you, once those thrift stores open back up, I'm looking forward to getting back to work. Not that I haven't been working, because you guys know me, I just work non-stop, so can't stop, won't stop. Happy Sunday to you, Rhiannon, and everyone else out there today. I hope you guys are all doing well. Can you guys hear my audio pretty good over top of the music? I know we had some concerns regarding the balance on that last week. I'll even bring it down another touch. A skosh. Hope everyone's doing well. This week's show is going to be a little bit chill. There's nothing really major going on in the world. I'll be bringing you as much as I can on that energy today. Mike can come up a hair. You got it. Let's go ahead and I want to make sure I bring it up in the right place. If I bring it up on my one device, it gets a little crackly. We don't want any cracking. So let's try this. How does that sound? I'm peaking a little bit, but I think we're coming in a little bit sharper. Oh, never mind, I fixed it. Well, we fixed both. I know some people, I get some comments, it blows my mind. I hate the music. Get rid of the music. I'm just like, chill. We got to get that mood going. But today is going to be a good show. We're going to have a little bit of fun. Thank you, Rhiannon. I appreciate that greatly. Oh, Miss Neely in the crowd hates the music. Hope you're doing well out there. I was going to message you last night, but it was a little bit late. But hope you're well where you're at. Eric in Ohio. Is California opening up soon? We're in phase 2 right now, but just as quick as it's opening, it's kind of shutting down a little bit too. So kind of playing everything by ear right now and figuring out what's going to happen. But thank you for asking. We're hoping. You know, I went out to a thrift store I went to a swap meet. I want to say a week ago? I don't know. I'm having a real hard time keeping track of the days with everything that's been going on around here. But the swap meet was really, really bad. If you haven't been to our Facebook group yet, I'll post a link up in the comments right now. But if you visit our Facebook group, you can see the post that I put up. I put a video showing what the swap meet looked like, and it was about 10% of what it's normally like. I know we're at 4 o'clock on the dot here Pacific Standard Time, top of the hour wherever you're at, but we're actually going to run through the last 5 minutes. I'm running 5 minutes late today, which means everyone else has to run 5 minutes late today because we have to retain continuity on our released videos. So when people come and watch this later, they have to see it in its entirety because it won't make any matter in the post-production replay. Nobody will know that we're even running late through the power of technology. Also, guys, don't forget live Q&A. As always, if you have any questions regarding anything, feel free to ask. I was taking questions regarding price gouging earlier today and eBay policy and going back and forth with some people about top-rated sellers. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask them. We got a little bit of time before we get started today. I forgot to take my vitamins today. Anyone else keep their vitamins right at their desk? Mike, not only do I feel like a rock star, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I am the only rock star in the reselling community. Unequivocal. You know what really blows my mind too? Man, I got into I chopped words with somebody on Facebook the other day, and I really never should. Because it'll just suck your life away. Every time I respond to a really dumb comment, after I'm done, I get that post-satisfaction guilt. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'll look at it and I'll be like, why did I just waste my time even responding to this person? but somebody was saying that if you call somebody a Karen, you are like just an absolute idiot. Like you have no room to stand, or no leg to stand on. You just sound like an idiot when you call somebody a Karen. And I said, I'm like, you realize, like, when we call people Karens, it's ironically, it's not like an actual attack on the person. Like, we're in on the joke with the person, and if that person understands the joke, they enjoy it too. But it's literally making fun of people like you who do not get the joke. I don't know. I've had so many people say that, like, you're so damn cocky, you're so damn full of yourself, and I'm like, I'm in on the joke with you guys. Like when I say I look dashingly sexy on camera, I'm saying it ironically. You know, I'm a mediocre. I'll give myself a solid 5, but have some fun, guys. Just chill out. Make a little joke every now and then. Remember when you guys used to be able to make jokes? Gosh, those are good old days. Let me scooch my windows around so I can actually see what I'm doing here. Don't forget, guys, if you have questions during the show, do not be afraid to ask them. And you are going to have to forgive my low energy. I had overnight company, and I did not get a good night's sleep. But we will fake it till we make it the moment that 2 minutes is up. My current audio bitrate is 0, lower than the recommended. What is going on with that? Output, audio bitrate, it's 48. And we'll go 96. Apparently my audio is going to sound better. I have no clue. How many people do we have here with us tonight? Oh, is my gear locked up? What is going on? It's telling me there's only 4 people here. Oh, that's no way that's correct. We got 24 people here. Thank you everyone for being here. Looks like one of my applications isn't working correctly. Karen asked me what I was shipping at the post office. I told her, and she followed up with, "You aren't selling masks, are you?" That definitely sounds like something that Karen would say. Did she ask to speak with like your eBay manager? Okay, guys, here we go. Let's do this. Let's talk about things for like an hour or so that theoretically might make you more money. Thank you to the 25 of you who chose to be here over traditional media tonight. Thank you. Let's have a little bit of fun. Oh, this song has to have it. It literally has to end. What is going on, guys? This is Rockstar J here. Today it is May 31st, 2020, and I'm coming to you live with another one of our famous Reseller Roundups. Every Sunday or every other Sunday, just depends on how I feel, I come to you with a load of news regarding things in the world of e-commerce that you need to know to be a better seller, make more money, stay happy, have fun, do it the easy way. This week, guys, we're going to be talking about the concerns of eBay scanning the ports on your computer when you visit the website, what new resellers coming to the platform actually means for people like me and you. We're going to have a little bit of a discourse on that, some of my thoughts, and honestly, I want to hear your thoughts on it as well. We're going to talk about how to start buying again now that the world is opening back up. Because as you know, some of the states are lifting their COVID-19 restrictions. It seems that COVID-19 is a thing of the past. I haven't seen hardly any coverage on it over the last 48 hours, so it looks like everything's returning back to normal. And we're going to be talking about some more nonsense, everything from that BS price gouging policies. We're going to take a look at another batch of Jordan Sweetnam's trending items that he had for sale. And unfortunately, more new, modern, and sophisticated scams coming to the market. I do want the people out there who are curious. I have a full power air humidifier going now. It's cranking out air, and we're at 45% today. I know some of you had asked because I get these coughs when I talk way too much. But the conditions are going to improve over time, so we just kind of got to go with it, and I'll crank some air in here too. Last week, we talked about managed payments and the implications of choosing not to switch your account over. If you haven't watched last week's episode, I strongly recommend you go watch it. We also talked about some new category restrictions that are coming to the marketplace as well during this transitional period, certain things that you will not be able to sell once you're on managed payments. And then we also talked about some Amazon issues regarding cancellations and a bit more buying strategy during the pandemic. So this is one of those things, I'm turning my air up real quick. This is one of those things that we're going to be going on and on about over the next few weeks, is about how to strategically buy during this period of time, because things are going to be shifting week by week. So if there are significant changes and I don't get an opportunity to do a full-fledged show for whatever reason, I'll try and make it a point to start releasing some pre-recorded content. I haven't had much of that going out as of late, just because I've had a massive influx of inventory. You guys notice up there we got a nice little cute 6-pack of Vinylmation condiments, and then you'll see a whole smattering of Vinylmations down here. And these are cute little ones I decided to keep for the short term as we have more and more inventory coming in. This week I processed somewhere in the area of about 2,200 pieces. And by process, I mean get them in, inspect them, verify counts, clean as necessary, sort into respective sets, set up, take the photos, and then push them across to my roommate, my buddy, Daniel, who's been handling the back half of the operations for me. I want to say this too. If you haven't started using multi-user access yet on your account, and you have somebody that you've wanted to take a little bit further with you as far as what they're doing with eBay. Now, it could be a spouse, it could be a roommate, it could be an apprentice, it could be a sibling or a child of yours that you've wanted to give a little bit more responsibility to on eBay, and you want to get them prepared to have their own account. Or even if you're out there as a trainer, I know we have some trainers that watch this show, and you have associates that are getting going on eBay, and they want to make sure that they're doing things correctly before they actually put the listing live. It's one of the most common concerns I hear from people, that I'm really worried I'm going to do something wrong, and then I'm going to end up losing money on an item, or I'm going to end up having the wrong shipping option. I'm going to be forced to ship it this way and lose money, or there's just all these variables, or I don't want to get scammed because I have the wrong title or wrong catalog or whatever it might be. Just a lot of fear that's associated with that. Well, if you're using multi-user access, for me, and the way that me and Daniel do it, is I can take all the photos, and I enjoy the photo taking process and the processing end of things, because with these Vinylmations, these little figures, here, I'll even grab you one. There's a whole bunch of different styles, and these things are super cute. They made thousands of different ones. This is from the Urban series. This is part of the Do-It-Yourself series. This is just a blank. I really like the blank ones, though. With those, I do my own processing, so that way I can get a better idea of what each individual item is worth. And I know it sounds ridiculous that I would be doing buys off people and not knowing what they're worth, but it happens because the price points are so damn aggressive, I just can't say no to it. But with multi-user access, what it allows me to do is it allows me to take all these photos and everything and then just push them across to Daniel. And I'll usually attach the price with it as well. But if you have a very seasoned reseller, somebody on your team that can help you out, you might not even need to do that. But just for quality assurance, it helps a lot. So I'll push all my items across to him, and he'll sit there and he'll produce all of the drafts. All of them, literally hundreds of drafts you'll be getting done over the course of a couple of hours. Now, when you're working with quantity items, it's really helpful especially if you're paying somebody to do it, because you're getting, double or triple the value when they can put up a 3 quantity piece opposed to a single quantity piece. But I'm just paying him $15 an hour to sit there and get the listings done. And I know that may seem like, oh, damn, I'm taking $100 out of my pocket each and every day, or $200 out of my pocket each and every day, depending on the number of hours he works. But that time can be applied to sourcing more inventory, or working on passion projects, or even taking time off, even taking a little bit of personal time and just having somebody else do it. So whether it be to help somebody scale, or to teach somebody the ropes, or if you want to give them access to your account, remember they can only create drafts. He can't make that listing live. So you can give them the ability to be able to create listings on your behalf without compromising your account. They can't see your sales numbers. They can't see any of your back-end info. They can't do any of your shipping. They can do pick and pull, or pull and pack, but they can't actually finalize any orders or anything to that fact. They can't respond to people. Then I can get all the drafts in, review them all one by one, and then I can make the decision and point out any errors and have them update photos if necessary, and then publish them to the site. It's been a really, really nice process being able to do that over the last week and a half, 2 weeks of being able to process all these pieces. So now we're going to be adding somewhere in the area of $10,000 to $20,000 worth of inventory to the site. And this is something that we've been talking about a bit more on the Patreon end of things than the front end of things. That's going to be wildly beneficial to be able to use this tool. So if you haven't used it yet, I do recommend you check it out. It can help with your efficiency quite a bit. Now, I wanted to talk one more thing before we really tear into the news, because once we get going on the news, we're actually on the news. Let me see if this is working really quick. Yeah, once we're on the news, we're on the news. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this channel, because I saw 2 or 3 people last week who were just just very flattering comments, and it just said something to the effect of, your channel deserves, way more than 400 views for these videos, or 500 views or whatever it might be. And I saw it in a couple of different places on some of the videos. And, I hadn't really understood, why the channel's been where it's at. And I don't like to go on about the channel. So what I'm talking about today is more about you, the viewer. And I realized that some of the struggles that I have with this is because of the contrarian thinking that I have here on this channel. To be someone who views this content and is capable of absorbing it, you have to be a critical thinker. Okay, this isn't surface level, I'm going to read you the headline. We're tearing deep into, mindsets and motivations and emotions that motivate the actions that we have for ourselves to be successful, but also make us think about everything that's actually happening within our job and our business. And we ask hard questions and we want hard answers. And I think sometimes that it's a little bit easier to live in a state of almost ignorance. Ignorance is bliss type of mindset, to where if you can just, slurp in really garbage information, just real basic stuff, and that does it for you business-wise, and you feel like you're contributing to your business, you can sit back and you can say, okay, this is everything that I'm doing. And when the tides start to shift, I've noticed that a lot of other areas of the internet, I'm not even going to point out, or say channels or Reddit or whatever, just other areas of the internet, there's a lot of finger pointing that happens that says, when this bad thing happens with my store, it's because of that. It's because eBay did this, or the e-commerce as a whole did that, or COVID did this, and they'll point out other things rather than things that we can actually do to our stores. Or, a lot of people are struggling to get inventory right now, but how many people are running ads online to try and source inventory and actually making phone calls and doing contacts and sending invoices and getting stuff through non-traditional channels right now? And a lot of people will just sit back, I can't do anything because thrift stores are closed. And I get that mindset if you've done 100% of your business that way for the last 20 years, and that's the only way you've been taught. But with this, there has to be some critical thinking with what we're doing. Because even when we had the last bit of a recession, 2008, 2009, I remember weathering it through that one as well. And I saw so many people on the sidelines just so defeated, and felt like there just was no options. And, a lack of intelligence is what puts you in the position where you have no options. And I said, you don't really have problems in life until you run out of options, legitimate options. And those who aren't smart enough or sharp enough don't have that critical thinking, or I guess even, I hate to say this, the ability to ask for help and say, hey, what can I do? Rather than just saying hey, everything's gone to shit. What can I actually do? And with that, I put up a post yesterday in the Facebook group, and I said, hey, how are your sales going? Because I'll be honest, my sales are in the drink right now. And I went from a really, really strong, May, June, January, February, March, April? I had a really strong April, very, very strong, maybe 7 to 10 grand worth of sales, coming into May, where I probably did about 50% of that. Okay, pretty bad volume. And I wanted to know if it was just me. So I put up a poll, and because I kind of felt like it was everyone. I've seen a lot of people talking about, but you don't really know till you run a poll. And I asked everyone, I said, hey, what are your sales like? And we had 17 people say my sales have gone up by 25% or more. We had 13 people say my sales have gone down by 25% or more. We had 6 people say my sales have stayed the same. And then a couple of people said my sales have been up over by 50%. And then a couple of people said my sales have fallen apart. So it looks like it's a pretty even spread across the board. It seems like we're all dealing with a relative amount of sales from one month over next. So this type of critical thinking is immediately applied, because it would have been real easy if I said, well, the COVID period's over and consumers are heading back to retail again, so it's only natural that your sales are going to be garbage. That's not really the case. Clearly, it's something wrong with my items, or the selection that I'm offering isn't what consumers are looking for right now. So what I need to do from today out is I need to figure out what are those hot commodities. What are people actually buying right now? And we're actually going to show you those items today. Jordan Sweetnam put up a very good post. Again, if you don't have him on your Facebook, I strongly recommend you add him as a friend. He's the Senior Vice President of Marketing for the Americas Market. He's pretty much the voice of eBay to the everyday reseller, it seems like. He shows up on the eBay for Business podcast. He shows up on the eBay for Business town halls, and he posts a lot of content online. Now, I don't know if it's him that's actually running the page, or because he does have an actual personal Facebook, but I'm almost positive that he has a hands-on capacity in that sense. I've even reached out to him a few times as well, and he's on my wish list of people that I hope to have the opportunity to speak to on air someday. I think that if he could just be plopped into a bit of a casual setting, to where we can just kind of talk like bros and like, hey, what's really going on with eBay? Like, give me some insight. And because I asked specifically on that post, can you give me some insight regarding ad spend? Because I've seen all kinds of anomalies in my sales and other sales, and I'd like to know where, if anywhere, the ad dollars are going to right now. Give me 1 second to review these comments really quick. Eric in Ohio put up a comment, said attorney Paul Raffleson started a case in Kentucky Circuit Court regarding price gouging. Just heard it last week, I believe. No ruling yet, just an FYI. I saw this absolutely disgusting Facebook post getting circulated around by a group of attorneys looking for people who had been price gouged from popular e-commerce sites to help build cases on their behalf. And I told him, I hope you lose money on every single one of these cases you open. And I've always felt that way. Sure, there is some argument to be made regarding divisions and class and wealth, but at the end of the day, if two people agree on a price for an item and there's no coercion, no force, and they don't feel unnecessarily obligated to buy the item, then how's it price gouging? Okay. And I understand the legality and the differences on it, but it is what it is. As Donald Trump would say, it is what it is. And if you don't believe me, there's an actual clip of that floating around. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and hop into our news for today. We always start off by thanking our patrons. Guys, thank you. We actually have a couple of new people on board, but let's give our first big shout out to Zyda, Ashley, Anna and Joe, Brandy, Rob, Tina, Benjamin, and our newest patron, JRB, coming in hot at the $50 slot. We're also looking for you, Penny. Make sure you send us a DM on Facebook. JRB, send us a DM on Facebook so we can get you added into our group chat and you can start enjoying those perks. Guys, we've had a lovely, lovely patron for, I think, close to a year now. Her name's Zyda. We've been working hand in hand with her business, some leaps and bounds, and it's been great. She's moving on to greener pastures here soon. She's got a whole new life ahead of her. I'm very excited for you. I hope all of that goes well, and thank you for being a patron for as long as you were. It's been lovely having you. Hopefully we get to work together on some other project moving forward here as you start the next part of your business journey. And if you guys want some info on Patreon, we'll chat about it later. Now it's time for some news. Guys, if you didn't know, eBay is doing port scans on your computer right now. Basically, I guess they're going through and they're doing all kinds of horrible things, right? Well, I saw the post. I saw the news articles. Forbes did it. Wall Street Journal did it. Everyone had to throw in their 2 cents. And a lot of people, I guess, are just looking for anything to latch onto to talk about e-commerce right now. Just e-commerce news in general is hot. Talking about eBay, talking about Amazon, it generates good clicks. I'm not getting paid for those clicks, but I know news outlets are. And those of you who don't know, with this whole port scanning thing, it's basically eBay's attempt to try and make sure that scammers are not using your computer and buying items on your account. So it's a little bit more sophisticated than just simply having your login information. They're literally hijacking people's computers. It might be in sleep mode. They may disable your monitor, and they're literally sitting there and clicking away and buying stuff. So the port scan basically means they're checking all the connections that your computer has to the internet at that time, and they're checking specific spots on the computer that the traffic would generally be used in hijacking attempts, or in situations where you like remote access. So if you've ever had a technical issue and you've had a technician remote access to your computer, that's the type of stuff that they're trying to watch out for. So if a computer is currently being used remote access, there's no reason why that computer should be online doing any shopping. Now we're going to talk about scams here later, and there's a whole host of new scams, some that revolve around the world of eBay and some that have nothing at all to do with eBay that you need to be cognizant of, because I know people firsthand who have fallen for similar scams like this in the past. I know people right now who are going to fall for these scams because they don't take the time to watch content, take a moment to learn some stuff. So this is just going to be good advice. And you may even know somebody who's dealing with this. But with this story, guys, when it comes to what eBay is doing, don't worry about it. Okay, they're just trying to protect you. They call it fingerprinting. Is basically what it is. eBay did issue a statement on this. They said our customers' privacy and data remains a top priority. We're committed to creating an experience on our site and service that is safe, secure, and trustworthy. So, as I've always said, take those headlines with a grain of salt. Do a little bit of personal research, and if you're not sure, reach out to the brand. Whether that be eBay, Wall Street Journal, Forbes, whoever's writing the article, whatever they might be saying about it. I wanted to take a moment, too. I wanted to talk about new sellers. Now, I think some of you have been selling online, right? A few of you out there sell on the eBay, and you may have noticed that there's new customers coming to the marketplace, a lot of zero feedback people showing up and making purchases. And you may have also noticed a bunch of new sellers possibly reaching out to you regarding your items. I've had people reach out and ask me if they could have copies of my manuals for items that I have for sale, and I look at their account and they're new sellers, and I tell them, no, it doesn't work that way. You're going to have to go source your own manual. I had a $300 game, and he's like, you think you could just pop that out and photocopy them and send them back to me at this email? Thanks. And I'm just like, no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give you the most valuable piece of my 1945 tin wind-up German car game. It's not happening. So with new sellers coming to the marketplace, it's a good thing for most people involved, just in the sense that market value, or the shareholder value on eBay, is really moving up right now. Part of that has to do with GMV. Part of that has to do with a new reinvigorated look for eBay, the fact that this could potentially be a place that more consumers are going to turn to moving forward now that they got that little bit of that taste in their mouth. And I don't know if it's necessarily the sellers that are driving up the stock price, or the stock price, which in turn is, encouraging eBay to feel like maybe they can do a little more on ad spend to get people coming in. But there's pros and cons to these types of changes on the platform. And I guess understanding, and as I said earlier, having some of this critical thinking on it can be really important. And I really do want your insight. I didn't post about this because I kind of wanted to have this discussion with you while I was on air. But one of the first things that I thought of when I thought of new people coming to the platform, like obviously there's some level of competition, right? And I thought about oversaturation of goods on the platform. And when you start having more goods coming in and start saturating the market, it ultimately drives down prices. And I was watching this happen with Vinylmations in particular, because any type of collectibles category, for the most part, has been negatively impacted over the last 60 to 90 days, especially any of the categories that were full of speculative investors. And we're going to talk about investing styles further in the video as well. But a lot of the speculative markets really took a hit over the last 90 days as people were essentially dumping some of their products early to try and free up capital, especially brand new people coming to the market, brand new people who didn't really know too well either. So what ends up happening is, one, you have really ineffective pricing. So let's say you have a booster box, for instance, of random Timmy cards, and the booster box is traditionally sold for $200, $205, $210, no lower than like $190. It's just always been in that hot spot. And as we start seeing more and more and more people, first-timers coming to the market, especially with their oversaturated goods, we're going to see them starting to place them online. Not only are we going to see a little bit of the race to the bottom, but we're going to see really ineffective pricing strategies. Everything from really low price auctions starting to trying to blitz them out at like 149, 155, those types of unnecessary drops in market value for somebody who's essentially trying to cash out early. I want to be very clear with people that when you go through to price your items right now, you have a big decision to make. Do I need to get paid on this today, or do I want to get paid correctly on this over time? Now, when we have these types of prices come back from numbers that have been maybe even too high, where they shouldn't have been originally, we call it down tracing or normalization, or the market's just returning back to normal. If the pricing went up too high too quick, something to that effect. Okay, you can either say, I'm going to sell today and I might have to compete against that 149.99, or I'm going to be the sensible person. I'm just going to list it out at 199.99 or 205 or whatever it might be. You just have to decide, do I want to get paid today, or am I okay waiting 3, 6, 9 months or years? It just depends on the type of item and the velocity that you're looking to get on, the quantity that you have, yada, yada, yada. So in this time, I want you to consider what you can do with your listings to actually make them stand out against these new competitors. And I was talking, again, on the group, and if you're not a member, I'll throw a link up. It's completely free, doesn't cost anything to be in there, about the quality of some of the photos that I've been putting up lately. And I'll even show you some of the sample shots, and you can see a whole page of them right here. And I've been using a real simple setup. It takes nothing. Two $25 Favatech single bulb lights, one piece of twill, and 5 sandwich clips was the entire setup. It's a very basic setup, and I've been doing that for years. And if you look at my photos, in my opinion, I think that they're stunning. We're actually going to have a photo contest on the page this week. It's the first time I've said anything about it. And we're going to ask everyone to submit photos, and we're going to create a spot where you can vote, and it's going to be a great time. And we'll give the winner, I don't know, we'll give you a hoodie and like $25 to eBay or something like that, okay? We'll come up with all the prize rules and all that stuff, but I want you to consider how your item is going to be perceived by the consumer against new sellers on the platform. You don't always necessarily have to compete with a seller based on price point alone. You can compete on quality. What's the saying go? Why am I going to compete with your price when you can't compete with my quality? Okay, and just keep that in mind. So if you're taking gorgeous photos and you have accurate title descriptions and perfect fit categories and a plethora of shipping options and potentially return options that speak to the consumer that you're working with, then you should win, right? So pros and cons on both of those. Now, the other end of it is the concern that I have with new sellers and the fact that we may have a poor buying experience for some of the people that are coming to the market. People who are failing to meet ship time expectations, or people who are doing really bad pack jobs, or people who are just completely failing to ship the item. Maybe they created an account, they needed it for a couple of weeks, they listed a bunch of stuff, made some money, and then abandoned their store. And I even had somebody message me regarding a record store that was abandoned. I pushed the information across to eBay, and that's going to happen right now. You're going to see some turn and burn as well. You're going to see people creating fake accounts and scamming people, and you may have to do a little bit more to build buyer trust. I've told people before, especially if you're working in a very, very high-end type market, you're working with like executive products, or you're working with high-end clothing, you're dealing with coins, currency, bullion, antiques, historical documents, something that requires a high level of either prominence or authenticity to who you are and the brand you represent online. Use that description box as an opportunity to be able to reach out to your customer in a positive way and build that buyer confidence wherein other sellers may not. You can say, I've been a vendor for eBay or with eBay for the past 15 years, and I have an unblemished spot record on the platform. And, build confidence with the people that you're working with, especially if you're in high risk or high cost or high rarity or high collectability type categories. It's going to help you out quite a bit. Wherein other newbie sellers are going to either have simple or no description and may even abandon carts as well. Also, if you're one of those people like myself who offers free comps where you'll compete against another person's listing price, which I recommend you add to your description. You can add it in bulk. It takes like 30 seconds to do, to add to 500 listings. You can say, if you see a better price anywhere else online, let us know, and we'll do our best to beat that price. And that might seem stupid, okay? It might seem dumb. I think nobody's going to do that. I probably get one message every 2 months. And somebody says, hey, will you play ball on this price? And I'll go check the comp. And if it's an exact comp, yeah, sure, I'll play ball. If somebody's got a good price and that's the price where it's at and you want me to beat it by $1 or $2, yeah, why not? Sure, I'll play ball. Or I'll look at it and it'll be a really crummy comp, but I'm able to open the discussion with the customer. We're able to start that dialogue and see if we can get something going. Now, the other thing about this, too, is that when you have more buyers coming to the market, it's going to increase the diversity of goods on the platform. And I think this is one of the biggest things that maybe eBay really missed out on when it came to how to handle new people during this pandemic. And I think that they made a big push for people to bring their old cell phones and clothing and outdoor goods and other very, very established markets to eBay. Stuff that we have plenty of. Realistically, we don't need more of right now. And I think eBay really should have made that play for returning eBay to that classic marketplace that it was. Hey, you've got old glassware. You got, Nana's old collection of buttons that she's not going to do anything with. You got your top high-end Beanie Babies, your old VHS collections. Like, bring some uniqueness to the marketplace. Maybe you've showed people junk drawer lots. Showed them anything to really get them enticed about coming to the marketplace. The diversity of goods is going to help. And if we think about, too, the fact that most of the sellers on the platform are also going to be buyers. So it is going to bring new buyers. We should be seeing more of an uptick. My biggest concern, though, is that we're going to see exactly what happened with the fidget spinners happening all over again, in the sense that the people came to the platform, they did their couple of buys, they spent a little bit of money, and then they left. That was it. We didn't see them anymore. And even with coupon codes and even with email pushes and push notifications to their cell phone, they just simply didn't come back again. eBay got used and abused and then dumped, and then that was that. But with that, let's take a look at some items really quick. I wanted to show you some of the hot items on eBay right now. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll even make this a little bit bigger for you. Let's unlock this. We can figure this out, right? There we go. Tuck myself down in this corner. So Jordan Sweetnam, great guy. Really lovely person. He went ahead and put up some items and talked about how they are really making waves in eBay right now. And he showed items last week as well, or a week and a half ago. And these are the top performers. We actually have 5 slides for you. He had 4 originally, and I called him out. I'm like, hey, dude, I think you got a duplicate up there. Is there a slide that we're missing? And 2 days later, he's like, as a matter of a fact. And then he uploaded the correct slide. So you're going to see a slide that just came out about an hour ago. If you saw the original post, you missed it. But things like automotive paint supplies, amplifiers, spray guns, auto lifts, frame machines, wheels and tires, decals, emblems, and flags. I'll be straight up, I don't have any of those things. And I think if you had any of those things, you would already know that they're doing pretty good. Getting ready for the summer in the backyard. So we talked about this before, a lot of the outdoor goods, everything from outdoor games to barbecues, patios. This one says water slides. All water features, outdoor water features, are doing exceptionally good right now. It has to do with the simple fact that people do not want to go to water parks. So even if you're going to your Walmart, Target, Kmart, wherever, and you're buying outdoor pools, a lot of people are flipping them online or local for several $100 profit per unit. It's pretty wild. Fire pits and chimeneas. Chimeneas? I had to look it up. I didn't even know what it was. It's one of those, it has like the big pot and it has the chimney coming out the top. But those are on the up. I wouldn't want to ship one of those. Swing, slide, inflatable tubes, grills, outdoors, patio furniture, all that good stuff. Now, I don't have any of that again. Hopefully you do. Roller skates, didn't think about that one. If you have that old pair of roller derby skates, it might be time to put them up. Hammocks, cornhole bag toss. I bet you every one of those is heading out to the East Coast. Disc golf disc. Those are all heading out to the West Coast. I'm an avid disc golfer. And kayaks. 80% up in sales as well. What else do we got here? Trending gifts for your Father's Day. Father's Day is up around the corner. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Electric massage chairs. Man, That is a nice looking share. I'd be willing to be a father just to get that share. Tools are up 180%. Hand tool sets, grow light kits, video arcade machines or arcade cabinets, electric scooters, pressure washers. I could go for a good pressure washer too. Not bad gift ideas. And then other things that are trending. This is one that he just put up today. I can't read it at all, so we're just going to cover my whole screen with it. Saunas. Punching bags, vacuum cleaners, cages, hutches, and enclosures. That's a cute little, what is that, a hutch? That thing is adorable. Shipping containers, food storage bags, coffee and tea. Shipping containers make sense, yeah, because e-commerce is up so high. Food truck, concession and trailers, bakery and desserts, sweets and chocolates, herbs, spices, and seasonings. Yeah, I guess not a lot of people want to go out and pick up seasonings right now if it's not necessary. They'd rather just have them shipped in. But pretty much, as we start to boil down on this, and as consumers are going to need less of our assistance to get pantry staples, you're going to want to make sure you start drifting away from the category as it starts to soften up, because I promise you when I say this, the category will soften up. All of these categories are not only going to return back to normal, but there's going to be a significant downturn in pricing as the amount of goods on the secondary market is going to be hyperinflated. Okay, there's going to be a whole lot of that inventory out there. Now, as we transition between stories, I have a little note thing here, a friendly little reminder. If you guys don't know, you can visit bolorama.com, bolorama.com, to learn a little bit more about what we do. Those of you who don't know, we are Patreon funded, which means the good people who watch this show actually throw me a couple of bucks each and every month, so that way I can justify spending the time to do it. You also get some great perks in return. Okay, you get, what do you get? You get access to our 24/7 group chat, exclusive training videos, one-on-one video calls with me so we can take a look at your store. Now, last month I told you, I said, hey, we're doing these store audits. They're $99.99. Okay, and I'll go over your entire store and I'll send you a 2 or 3 page report regarding your store and what you need to do, not want to do, what you need to do to improve your sales. And it can be everything from inventory recommendations to cleaning certain things up. We're making a special promo tonight, guys, for everyone who signs up. Tomorrow's the day to do it. It's going to be the beginning of the month. You're going to get the maximum value. I am going to throw in, at the $50 level, that free, I'm going to throw it in for free. That $99.99 service. We'll do a full store review at no extra cost, and we'll discuss it over your first video call. We can get them all set up sometime over the next 7 days. If you like us, love us, you want to stay, great. If not, no hard feelings. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Bolorama.com, you can see all of the different services that we offer. We have a ton of free stuff, and if you'd like to help us develop more stuff that we can make available for free for those who need some free assistance, let us know. And while I'm on it, I will never turn you away. If you have a question, you need some help, send me a message on Facebook. I have time to take questions. I'll be happy to answer them for you, whether you pay me or not. It does not matter. If you need help, I'm going to be there for you. So moving on, what else do we got today? I'm not ready for that slide. I think I'm still ready for the previous one here. We got more news, guys. Did you guys hear about these Adidas Facemask? More stories going out about this. I don't even really want to talk about it too much, but those of you who don't know, eBay has made it so that specific people are allowed to sell face masks. Now, the real thing that really confuses me, and I don't understand this, okay? If N95 masks are the ones that actually work, okay, why are we not allowed to sell them on eBay? Why are they allowing us to sell cloth face masks, which are pretty much ineffective at stopping your contraction of most viruses? I'm not even going to say the name of any of them. I just don't understand the double standard on that. I reached out to eBay again this week and I said, hey, looks like the whole situation's coming to an end. When are we going to be able to list items that have been historically marked as price gouging? When are you going to lift those restrictions? And the representative at the Concierge Trust and Safety team said, hopefully soon, in almost an impassioned tone, because he said he is getting fairly tired of the calls that he's getting. It's a majority of his calls each and every day because people are having difficulty listing items. I want you guys to think for one moment, okay? One pink 3-inch Mickey Vinylmation. Why does that title not qualify or is not allowed to be listed on eBay? It's technically a price gouging title, okay? And this is what I'm talking about. This is the issue. one pink DIY 3-inch Mickey Vinylmation figure. That title will not go through. And I had to call and I had to ask. I said, what's the deal? What's going on? He said, it's because you have the 3-inch Mickey Vinylmation. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you can't have like 3 and then a space and then a symbol and then M, because that could be 3M and you could just be disguising it. So you can't have that in your title. I said, dude, this is ridiculous. There's no reason I should have to call you and ask you this question for you to tell me to rearrange my damn title. So, and when you're listing 300 Mickey figures over the course of a week, and I have to go through after I've paid somebody to create my drafts, and I have to restructure my titles to get my listings to go through, yeah, it's really messed up, especially when you're following eBay and Google guidelines for a perfect title structure. Really frustrating. So hopefully these bans and these restrictions are going to get lifted soon. I'm getting fairly tired of it. I don't think there's any reason for this nonsense to continue on. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about while I had you, and I know this is a bit of an odd show. It's a bit of a smattering of different things. I'm not really staying hyper on subject, on topic about much of anything. There's just a bunch of little things going on. Nobody can look at last week and say, man, you have to talk about this. There's simply none of that. Nothing catastrophic happened. Changes in TRS, but who cares? Okay, top rated seller is a myth. Okay, you got Rockstar J telling you that it's a complete myth. Okay. We're going to talk about going back out and shopping. I went to the mall. I just breathed in a little water, too. So I went back out shopping this week. The mall opened back up. My girlfriend wanted to go shopping. So I said, okay, let's go out there and go shopping. We went to a store called Earthbound. No relation to the video game, but boy, was I floored the first time I saw this store. It's very much so a earth, gems, incense, Tahitian mats type of chakra type place. Beautiful place, great energy. I mean, you can't go into that place and think the energy's bad. Maybe some bad feng shui, but otherwise, pretty nice. We went in there and I started taking note of some of the things that were happening at this store as well as a lot of other stores. I think it is kind of slipped by some people that a lot of stores have regular buying cycles that they do. They buy summer goods, they buy winter goods, they buy summer goods, they buy winter goods, and guess what? Some places bought a heck of a lot of winter goods and didn't get an opportunity to sell through all of that stuff. And I am seeing some ridiculous amount of sales at some of these stores. I understand for some people going out to stores right now is very risky business. And if you feel that way, stay home. But if you're like me and you're below the age of 45, it puts you at a 0.00003% chance of death. You're probably going to be fine if you go out right now, okay? But do with that information as you will. A lot of the stores I'm seeing have massive clearance sections. Big time. They have way too much stock that's going to be shifting out of season pretty damn quick here, and they're wanting to get rid of it. They have a lot of new stuff that they may have already ordered that they want to get onto the shelves. And they want to turn this stuff and get it moving. So we go through there, and we're looking around. We ended up filling 2 full bags worth of stuff. I got some new boxers for me. She got a dress. She got a purse. She got a pajama set. We got some incense. We got all kinds of other nonsense. And the normal retail price, I think, would have been close to like $200 some odd dollars, but everything was 60% off. Okay, maybe I guess 110, 120, whatever. We ended up paying like $45 out the door for everything. So some of these stores are blitzing things out. Look for big deals. One of the other things too, especially with some of these smaller businesses, whether it be a vendor at a swap meet, whether it be a retail store, whether it be even a small business store, talk with them about what's going on if they want to have that talk. And I think that I've seen some resellers already. It's kind of disgusting. Some people are really taking advantage of the situation in that sense, but I tell people it doesn't take all but 3 or 4 minutes to be a good human being. And ask a person, be like, hey, how you been? You doing good? Your family doing good? You been all right? Yeah. Everything holding up okay? I even talked to my barber that way. I just like, hey, are you good? Not only are you being a decent human being, but you're opening the door for an opportunity to build really good rapport and connect with a vendor on a level that you may have never connected with them before. And I promise you that if there is deals to be had, they're going to go to you before anyone else. I'm not saying do it for that reason. That's just a lovely side effect of that. You reap what you sow. We've talked about this before. If they're hard up for cash and they say anything to the effect of, this has been really difficult on our family, we're really hoping that we have some good sales come in, whatever it might be, something to that effect, tell them you buy other things. I don't care if they're a flippin' piñata vendor for a living, okay? I also buy video games, trading cards, vinyl figures, collectibles, bullion, paper money, archival documents, whatever you have, I'll buy it. And let them, because you're doing them a favor. I know so many people are so afraid and they hide behind I'm not a reseller, I'm just a collector. No, you're a reseller, you're a professional reseller. Badge of honor, wear it with pride. Let them know, hey, I'd love to help. If there's a way I can help, I'd love to. I have an in-house appraisal that I'm doing later this week, where I'm going through some antiques and glasswares and collectibles, and I was called in as a favor. They want me there to help them free up some capital, and that's what I'm going to do. So remember that. Building these bridges with people, it's an opportunity for you to do something really good for them or potentially really good for the community and benefit your own self. It is very much so a win-win. When it comes to buying right now, I cannot stress this enough, okay? You have to pay close attention to variations within the categories that you work the most. If you start seeing large influxes of goods within specific categories, and I keep stressing this, you have to be prepared and willing to adjust your prices on the fly. There's far too many people that are sticking with their traditional pricing model. I pay this on this, I pay this on this, and they're not taking into account rapid changes in pricing models online, whether that be the sale price of the item or the available pricing to be able to purchase said item that's out there. On top of that, as we start seeing lots of stuff come to the market, you're going to have to make some really strategic decisions. And if you're not sure, ask somebody. There's always somebody available to ask. And trust me when I say this, humble yourself. Okay? I'd rather save thousands of dollars from making a bad decision than cross my fingers and sit on top of a hill and hope that I got it right. Ask somebody. Somebody will help you. But certain things, you might be in positions where you're going to be buying 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 of a specific type of unit. And you have to be prepared to take some of that money we talked about earning over the last 6 months and invest into potentially large positions on specific items. One of the channels that I was watching very recently, and I don't ever like shouting out channels, but this channel is abso-flippin-lutely amazing. It's so good. I'm going to type it in the comments. The channel's name is Reserved Investments, and I cannot recommend a channel any higher than that channel. I've talked with him in the comments a little bit. We have no professional dealings with each other whatsoever. I stumbled into his channel. It is very good. If you're somebody that is doing any type of item investing, okay, whether it's you maybe holding back inventory for that certain price point, collectible, trading cards, comics, antiques, artwork, bullion, coins, whatever it might be. If you're holding back on that inventory, you got to watch this guy. We're talking this guy very much so, this gentleman, I should call him. This gentleman very much so taught me the difference between speculative investments, established investments, and mature investments, and just the different way that you need to look at your inventory. The importance of not only having a plan on how you're going to buy, but also fully understanding your exit strategy with your inventory as well. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be leaving eBay here soon. For whatever reason, maybe you can't get a bank account, or you're going to have complications, you don't want to give up your social security number, whatever it might be. You have to have an exit strategy for your inventory. Those of you who are holding long-term positions on specific items need to understand that as well. You need to have your plan in place. And those of you who are getting prepared to go back out into the buying world again, who may have a large amount of money and may have opportunities to buy large amounts of goods, you need to know what you're going to do with it. Okay, so if you go check out his channel, please, and I didn't tell him I was even going to do this. Please leave him a comment. Tell him Bolarama sent you. His videos are solid, and I'll tell you right now, I don't like watching people who waste my time. If you watch a 20-minute video of his, you will learn 20 minutes worth of content, and I can't say that about pretty much any other educational channel on YouTube. But his content is good, and dare I say, You will learn more from him in 20 minutes than you'll learn from me in 20 minutes. Definitely go check out his channel. But I just wanted to kind of get that information out there. Just be mindful. Be mindful. The market's shifting quite a bit. One more thing I wanted to talk about. Man, I got a lot of notes today. There's a lot of scams going on eBay. Before I get over there, if you have any questions for me, okay, and this is important, if you have any questions regarding investment, buying, strategy, yada, 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 you can ask that now. If you have any questions regarding price gouging policy, trending items, anything like that, now's a perfect time to ask. I'm going to drink some water and take half a moment to myself. Humidity is 43% in here. I think I might need a new filter. I'm going to be running through a filter a week, it looks like. But yeah, definitely go check out his channel. Please tell him I sent you. Nothing but love for the guy. Great, great content. And he only has 1.8K subs, 1,800 subs. His channel deserves more than mine, simply put. Guys, there's more scams going on in the world right now, and eBay has been hit surprisingly hard by all of these scams that are going around. We are seeing thousands of fake listings for RVs right now. And I guess it kind of makes sense. If you've been anywhere near the news over the last week, you'll know that when an opportunity presents itself for people to do things that they shouldn't be doing, they're going to go ahead and take it. And eBay is no different. eBay is the most polished place to be able to sit behind your desk. And if you want to scam, God dang, I wish I could do it. I wish I didn't have a moral compass, because I know how dangerous I could be behind a computer. I could make $100,000 in 6 months scamming people, but I got too much nicety in me. But people are scamming hard on eBay right now. We are seeing thousands of listings getting pulled for duplicate RVs and items that have already been historically sold, because a lot of people are looking at RVs right now as an alternative, because when things get a little bit crazy, man, it'd be great to drive your entire house and everything you own like 200 miles away. Just park it at the top of the hill just for peace of mind, whatever you might end up doing. Right now we're seeing an influx of these messages going out to people, and obviously me and you and everyone else understands this, but they're asking for deposits on these vehicles even after the sale. They're trying to short sale these vehicles to people. Don't even know how. I think people are just messaging in because they see an undervalued vehicle. They're asking for deposits. eBay has eBay classifieds. eBay does not hold any inventory. So if you ever see messages to the effect of, it's in an eBay holding warehouse, the funds will be released to you, don't get released to me until you sign off on the vehicle. Obviously, all of that's a scam. We're seeing other scams outside of eBay right now, too, that I wanted to touch base on as well. I'm going to take a look at this message really quick. Red River Group. I walk away from so many deals now if the profit isn't there. There is no shortage of inventory. People think that they're going to get eBay prices for local deals. Yeah. I won't pay anyone near eBay. I'll tell them if I'm doing 90% of the work, I want at least 50% of the profit. You just met me here with an item, but I have to go home and clean it, stage it, photograph it, list it, pack it, ship it, and deal with any BS that might come after. So unless you're going to, unless you want like 5% of the money now, and then I'll give you the rest of it when I make it in 6 months. If you want a little bit more, I can do that, but I'm not paying full price locally. So we've been seeing a lot of text and robocall scams. Now, I even posted on my personal timeline, and you guys can friend me if you want, and I talked about how it seemed like text scams or phone scams were on the decline, and I guess it was predominantly for business owners, people who had ever had a listing on Google Business. And if you've ever had one, you know what I'm talking about. Those calls come in 5 to 10 times a day trying to sell you nonsense. We're calling on behalf of Google, and we can see that your listing isn't active right now. It's only going to cost $299.99 to get it reactivated again. It's just so ridiculous. And some days when I get bored, I take up as much time as I can with them, but it's still happening. Right now, we're seeing a whole new host of scams regarding around COVID. Everything from free COVID testing to the most popular one right now is to waive student loans. They're talking about, because, anytime anything hits the news and then hits the headlines and then can be slightly twisted and then put out in a robocall to get people to call in and engage a call to action, we can eliminate your $30,000 student debt. You just have to call us back. It's like, well, okay. And people fall for these things. You want to make sure you take a moment to reach out to people who are generally lower functioning. Okay. We're not talking people who are like off that far spectrum. We're just talking about people who generally get scammed and conned, okay? And just let them know, like, hey, there's no free COVID testing. They're not waiving your student cost. And then there's a lot of relief money scams going on right now, too. Make sure they're going to the right website. Make sure they're getting everything set up correctly. And then there's even this new one. It's called Sticker, S-T-C-K-R, no E, sticker scam. I don't know. There's a lot of them going around right now, guys. Be mindful. Be careful. So, in other news, did you guys know that they were discontinuing the Amazon Echo Look? I didn't even know what this device was. I went and watched the trailer for it. I'm like, man, this is a pretty neat thing. It's a Amazon Echo that has, and I'm sorry if I'm triggering anyone's. Oh, I know your device shouldn't trigger unless I say Alexa, but it's a Alexa device that has a camera and flash bulbs around it, and you can take a picture of yourself and like shows up on your phone in real time. You can like put your outfit on and turn around. I'm like, man, this is a genius device. Why the hell haven't they marketed the heck out of it? But apparently they're disconnecting it. So if you have one, it's going to stop working here soon. The app that it works with is just going to be disconnected. So you're going to be losing all of that functionality, but you're still going to get some of the back end support through the back. But the main reason I wanted to even mention Amazon is because, boy, are they making some leaps and strides as far as delivery is concerned. We talked, what was it, about a year ago when they decided to drop FedEx, right? Yeah, FedEx, or whoever their primary courier was. And everyone was like, oh my God, this is going to destroy their stock price. You know, the FedEx stock price is just going to, fall apart. And it didn't. It was fine. And everyone said, well, how's Amazon going to keep up with this amount of packages? And they said, we'll just hire our own damn fleet. And I didn't know these statistics until I read them. It says more than half of Amazon packages that are being delivered by their own vehicles. Half, okay? And they said that their shipping cost is still one of their biggest expenses. Even with that, they said that by 2023 that they're looking at $90 billion per year in shipping cost. And that's just ridiculous to spend that much. I'm over here complaining about $10,000 a year in shipping costs, but $90 billion is just on a whole nother plane. They said as of right now, they have 10,000 truck trailers, a network of ocean freighters, thousands of last-mile delivery vans, which is the ones that we had talked about previously, and a smattering of sidewalk robots and experimental drones. And they said that by 2021 that they're going to have 70 branded cargo jets. On top of that, Amazon ordered 100,000 electric delivery vans from Rivian as part of a broader climate pledge. So, yeah, their reach is just getting absolutely ridiculous. And they said that they could have as many as 200 aircraft within the next 7 to 8 years solely to handle their delivery. Keep in mind, at 200 aircrafts, that is a ton. Okay? And the reason why I think that they're going to be doing this direction is because of things like COVID. A lot of packages get piggybacked on the back end of consumer airline flights. And when consumer flights are down, guess what? They have to private or charter their own private planes to be able to get those packages to where they go, and in turn incur these massive costs opposed to having just owned their own planes. So they're going to have 200 within the next 7 to 8 years. I guarantee you it's going to be closer to 300. And they said UPS has 275. So right now I believe they're the fourth biggest delivery company in the world, and they're going to be on track. They're going to make their way to number 2. I don't see them passing USPS, but they're going to make their way up to number 2. So before I go today, I want again, if you have any questions, leave them for me. I want you guys to get prepared because this is going to be a wild month coming up. June, July, it's historically we see a eBay seller update drop around this time. We get our spring seller update. But as I said, this year is going to be an interesting year. You can expect to see 3, maybe even 4 seller updates this year because we have managed payments on the way. So as this period comes, I can't stress this enough. Get your listings looking good. It's not that hard. Take some time and make them pretty, and go ahead and start getting compliant with eBay's requirements. They don't ask much of you. Fill out your item specifics. Get some more velocity for your items. It's important. Okay? But those mandates, they're there. They're coming. And these updates are right around the corner. That's really all I have news-wise for you today. I just kind of wanted to get that last little bit in. Guys, we're down to our final thoughts. Last chance to ask any questions. These shows will get longer, as they have been previously, once I'm able to go out and source. Because usually at the top of the hour, this is where I switch over and say, hey guys, you want to look at some items? I don't have any items for you still. I went to the swap meet. I didn't get a darn thing. All of my thrift stores are still closed. Actually, excuse me. When I did go to the swap meet, I did get items. I got 300 Kids Meals toys. I paid $70. I was able to build maybe 9 or 10 sets worth listing across to 3 or 4 SKUs. So not too bad. I'll be able to make $100 to probably about $150 gross on those sets. And I'll still have maybe 225 pieces left over that can get moved to the next convention that I go to. That's the big plan with a lot of my leftover stock, is just to go do a con as soon as they open back up. People are going to be very eager to start spending. If you've never done a Comic-Con, stack up stuff for it. People are going to be very, very eager to spend money at a convention for the first one that comes around. You can probably make twice as much as you normally could. It's a great way to get your feet wet on doing that type of work. A good convention weekend for me can range anywhere between, $1,500 for a smaller convention, and you can expect numbers as high as like $6,000 or $8,000 across a good weekend if you have the inventory and the staff to help support that process for you. So it's kind of a bit of a twofold thing to be able to make that happen. So I'm going to bring this in a little bit more even. So as we come to a close this week. There we go. Awesome. As we come to a close this week, last week we talked about something that I'm a little bit passionate about. Here, let's see. I want to fix this all the way up. Let's get this right height going. There we go. Perfect. So last week I talked about the topic of being uncomfortable and investing in yourself. And this is a very important thing to talk about. I don't know why enough people don't do it. I asked, would you guys take a moment and invest into something for yourself? Do something to make your quality of life better, or do something to, just become a better person overall over the next week or 2 weeks. I hope some of you did that, and if you did, I'd love to see that in the comments down below. Today, I want to talk about mindfulness in the relationship sense. So I've never really talked much about my thoughts on relationships, but it's one of my favorite topics to talk about. I've never talked about it on air, and I understand that it's very off character for this show, and I understand that it might not be of interest to anyone out there, but that's okay. So mindfulness within the relationship sense is something that really blows my mind that so many people do not have. It doesn't take much effort to be a really, really good person. Little things go so far, and the effort that you put behind them can be of great significance. Just very, very small things. Even in the business world, let me give you a business analogy. My girlfriend, her friend wanted an item from me, one of these figures. It was a Cheshire Cat. The Cheshire Cat's slated to be sold at a convention. I'm going to get $10 for it. And she said, well, how much would it be for her? I'm like, oh, she can just have it. She said, what? And I'm like, yeah, just give it to her. She's like, oh, she's going to give it to her grandma, though. I'm like, oh, even better. Sure, just give it to her. And I've given away a lot of stuff on air when people ask me after the show. And she's like, oh, well, that's kind of surprising. I'm like, why is it surprising? I'm like, it's just a good thing to do. She's like, well, you could have made $10 on it. I'm like, well, I'm getting more value this way. She said, what do you mean? Well, I'm getting more value as a human because it only cost me a dollar to get this, but it's worth more than the $10 that I would have gotten if I had just sold it. It's a great, I can be a much better person than what I could have done with $10 by just simply giving this to you. And when I think about relationships, I think that there's so many opportunities, just little opportunities to just do a little bit more. One of the things that kind of irks me when I talk with a lot of peers about relationships, and they'll tell me, well, I don't understand because I cook and I clean and, I do the dishes, or I'll hear the opposite, well, I go work a 40-hour work week and I pay the car payments, I keep the car clean and, this, that, and the other. And I have to remind people that it's oftentimes, it's not the things that you have to do within a relationship. And these aren't gender norms either. They can go to either party, but it's the things that you choose to do that really define a relationship. Nobody cares if you did dishes every week for the last year. That's great. Somebody has to do them, husband or wife. Somebody's going to do them. Okay. But, if you choose to do a nice gesture, go walk around for 10 minutes and pull some damn flowers and hand them to your partner. Or to take 5 seconds. Take a little Post-it note. Tell your partner you love them. Stick it on a mirror. Tell them they're beautiful today. Shove it inside their bag. Just take that little bit of time, because it's worth so much more in value than the actual sheet of paper or the ink on the page. There's more to it than just that. But I don't know. Be mindful, people. Be good partners. It's not hard. If you're wondering why your relationship has been so stressed over the last 3 months, mine has been too. It's been very difficult. You don't get to do some of the things that you really want to do. We got to go out to El Cajon and walk around in the giant strip mall, 100 stores. I think 8 of them were open. It was a great time. Just returning back to normalcy again. And did I need to do that? God, no. No, I didn't need to be out there. But it's the things that you choose to do as a partner. Okay? And you don't rub it in their face either. Just be a good person. Just do little things. I'll tell you right now, guy, girl, non-binary, okay? Write your partner a little love note and hide it somewhere for him. I've got love notes from my partner she hasn't even found yet, okay? And I know one day she will. That's great. Little mindfulness. We'll talk more about relationship stuff. There was another topic I wanted to speak on. I know I'm losing some of you. It's important to understand that that emotions can be felt much stronger for your partner than they can be for you. And just because you don't perceive them the same way doesn't mean that they're not as important, because you're not the one feeling them that way. Guys, I'm mainly talking to you, okay? If a woman tells you she's scared or she's feeling anxious, it's probably pretty damn intense. Be mindful of that. Enough of that for today, though. If you guys have any relationship questions, leave them in the comments. I'd love to tackle them on air with you. This has been the Reseller Roundup. Let me get some water in me. Let's clutch out this outro. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. This has been an interesting show. Nothing going on in the world of e-commerce, but I thank you for choosing my media over the other media that's going on right now, because I know there's some stuff going on. This has been Reseller Roundup, May 31st, 2020. My name is Rockstar J. Thank you so much for being here tonight. If you haven't checked it out, visit our Patreon. Thank you to everyone who helps make this show possible. If you don't make that money, someone else will. Have a wonderful night. And I'll see you next week or week after. I don't know. Have a good one.